Anunnaki/Draco history and its influence on society today. The Roman or Greek gods, which we call the Anunnaki, were divided up into two factions. These were the forces of light vs the forces of dark, the Jedi vs the Sith, angels vs demons. They were semi-physical entities, meaning they could go back between physical and non-physical states between the fourth and sixth densities. The Anunnaki are the gatekeepers of the psychological realm of the fourth dimension, hence why they fought for the minds of the Earthlings. One side wanted to teach spiritual evolution so we could rule ourselves and to rectify the galaxy's genetic imbalances. The other side wanted to keep humans at a low frequency so they could filter our unused energy through the chronozon portals of Earth and feed both the negative entities and their machinery with our supply to another dimension. The Anunnaki used certain portals of the Earth to incarnate into human form so they could better connect with us. The first major one was established in the city of Dalmatia in the Turkey/Armenia region. They did the same with Göbekli Tepe and Karadag. The regions of Turkey and Armenia occupy the third eye portal region. This ISS where the Anatolian serpent of knowledge comes in through the Anunnaki, who taught the first Neanderthals the knowledge of the stars and the chakra energy centers. They themselves picked 138 of the best Neanderthal genetics to appear and manifest physically to the humans so they could part their knowledge with us. Why do they use the serpent in their teachings? Apart from the references to the Kundalini serpent, the Anunnaki are predominantly Pleiadian and reptilian hybrids, the Nephilim children at least, that is. The higher entities have a mix of Sirian energies. Hybridization of humans with reptilians goes back to the earlier Lyran wars with the Draconian entities. The Orion Empire was strong under the royal Chakar rule around Thuban until major galactic battles commenced between the human/feline species of the Lyrans and the reptilians. Some truces were made as major losses occurred on both sides. This led to a split amongst certain reptilian groups who saw this cooperation between species as weakness, and so they went their separate ways. There were those reptilians that crossbred with the Lyrans, the Kalisk, who moved closer to the light as a result of altering their DNA. These beings had the potential power to overthrow the royal Chakar, as they could become chaos mages by fusing both the light and dark in balance to create a double toroidal energy field within themselves. The Morkel, a satanic reptilian faction, continued their pursuits to dominate, enslave, and torture. They are similar in energy to that of the Cabe reptilians, who have black eyes and horns. This is where the devil archetype originates from. The Anunnaki or gods were formed from the star of Epsilon Buddhists that brought about their physical galactic forms, which may appear different from their earth bodies or sleeves. Some of the positively oriented ones were considered type 2 benevolent entities, which means they had good intentions but would still force their theology onto their students rather than respect the free will of the people. This is how religions were created. Zeus would fit into this category. The Anunnaki used their theologies to separate humans into various tribes. This stunted the growth of Earth's people and blocked the unity connection of the planet. The negative-oriented Anunnaki treated humans very poorly, particularly the women. They interbred with humans, fallen angels, corrupting the human gene pool and prohibiting growth in the higher energy centers. This led to a long war between the Ra Confederation, part of the GF, and the negative Anunnaki/Nephilim, where eventually the Anunnaki were either banished from the Earth or imprisoned underground. The Great Flood assisted in making the negative entities retreat off-planet, go underground, or just die in the cataclysms. Marduk, who used the Shedi and Hent Draconian/reptilians to dominate the Earth realm and humanity, was eventually imprisoned by the Syrian High Council in the underworld before being exiled into North America. Most of the Anunnaki were very unstable psychologically and embodied the false self-identity through their narcissistic conquests to dominate one another for roles of power. The Syrians implemented a 666 Templar Axion code that energetically blocked the Dracos and Anunnaki from interbreeding with humans after a treaty had been signed between the forces of light and dark. The Uranius beings were sent to Earth to alter the consciousness of humans back to the Great Mountain of Light, programming that prospered in Lemuria and connected back with the Great Divine Programmer. They did not look human, and so they took the form of animals, parting knowledge to humanity within the dream state. These were your spirit animals archetypes. Unfortunately, these beings couldn't rectify the heavy damage of selfishness, aggression, and greed which some of the Anunnaki and Draco had plagued humans with, which became ingrained in many of the Earthlings' behavior. The Children of the Law of One were created by members of the Pleiadian, Syrian, and Arcturian Council as the new blueprint to show humanity how to evolve consciousness out of the galactic night. They worked with Enki to build a new genome for the future human race that would transcend into the light. This small new race comprised of only 12 families known as the Dasne or the Cirrus, who first came and settled in Evno, Ikaran, and Kafua, which we now call the Canary Islands, in the age of Leo. They were the Egyptian gods and the alchemists of Chem, looking to alter the DNA with the knowledge they imparted to others from within. Osiris was the leader, the whole or O representation of the Sirius/Sirius consciousness. Their earthly mission was to bridge the consciousness of Orion and Sirius back to unity again and create heaven on earth by balancing the poles of masculine and feminine in perfect harmony once again. The Sirius DNA is the combination of 7 galactic species genes, 7 pure species and 5 hybrid species. This created 12 genetic seeds in total, in which the 12 gods and goddesses embodied and would share their DNA codes with the world by downloading information from the world's Agatha portal network. Their bloodlines spread to the 12 tribes of Israel, which branched off as 12,000 humans within each tribe. 12 tribes of the 12,000 give you the 144,000 light workers, who were specifically designed and chosen star seeds to incarnate on Earth, by disrupting their own incarnation cycle in the universe, to bring humanity out of the Kali Yuga. However, I don't like telling people this, as it can inflate one's ego if they aren't fully healed, sometimes projecting out through narcissistic-like tendencies. The Egyptian gods and goddesses were the blue ones, which we recognize in the Hindu religion. The blue is a representation not just of the blue throat chakra to impart their knowledge to humanity, but also it represented the blue blood of the Arcturians that created this new consciousness of light to spread and change the vibrations within humanity. This isn't to be confused with the blood of the reptilians, which is copper-based and takes on a blue appearance when it becomes oxygenated. The network of the 12 families were benevolent priest kings, Jedi, acting on behalf of the Great White Brotherhood, who used their voices to change the Earth's codes through vibration. This is why hymns and singing are now a huge part of religious ceremonies worldwide. The correct frequencies that initiates into the Brotherhood trained in would help align and correct the magnetic North and South Pole back to balance. Sound was also used in the Great Pyramid to help initiates on the Nile path to enlightenment, those who were completing their 32 paths of wisdom, Tao, to ascend to the belt stars of Orion. These 32 paths are called Jacob's Ladder today, the climb up the spine to meet God at the pineal gland and the center of you. Enki encoded the information of the stars into the blood of the Egyptian gods via the blue blood energy fusion of the Arcturians. They had power over the sun and moon and used huge technological devices also to harness these energies for the benefit of balancing the Earth's consciousness to achieve the higher densities vibrationally. The power and charge was brought by the sun, Ra and Syrian central sun, but that energy was understood by the moon, Inku. This is why both Thoth and Isis were considered moon gods and goddesses, as they parted their wisdom of the stars to humanity to help them ascend. Thoth, or Hermes, bridges with Isis, or Aphrodite, via the moon Sephiroth placement on the Kabbalah tree to create a crescent moon of balance. This is the balance between the mind, Mercury, and spirit, Venus, which fuses within the body on Earth, Malkuth. This creates the holy trinity of mind, body, and spirit in the down-facing triangle of the Merkaba and lucky 777 of the Philosopher's Stone, 7 balanced chakras for each. These two deities represent balance. Hermes and Aphrodite merge poles to create the term hermaphrodite. This is a metaphorical fusion and not a biological one. Both Thoth and Isis names are mirrors in their letter constructions to emphasize the power of the middle path of balance between the two pillars of severity and mercy, Boaz and Jachin. Now, unfortunately, due to the reptilians still being able to mind control humans through the lower chakras and reptilian portion of the brain, this knowledge of the Egyptians' gods was taken and further used to enslave humanity. The knowledge of the Great White Brotherhood got leaked and fell into the hands of the sons of Belial, who embodied the dark energy of the Brotherhood of the Snake, or Sith Lord controllers. They used this magic to convert Babylon into a dystopian nightmare led by Azazel or Marduk. How does this translate through into today's world? The evidence can be found by exposing the numerical codes which govern the matrix language, coded through the vibratory sound complex that each sequence of numbers represent. Number 18 equals the number of duality split between the 9 lords of darkness looking to control the portals to the 9th dimension and the 9 lords or the light, otherwise known American Samoa, the founders, Pidal or Pedal. 18 viruses. 666 Axion codes, 6 plus 6 plus 6 equals 18. Drake, Draco, November 18th song with the Moloch owl. November 18th equals 322nd day of the year. 322 Skull and Bones Pominati Club. Plimpton 322, Babylonian Mathematics, the 3 Mason square. Genesis 3:22, Behold, the man has become like us, knowing good and evil. 51, Special Occult Number. 51 Names for Marduk who lead the fallen angel invasion. Area 51, the Marduk/Grey/Reptilian Alliance for Technological Trading. 51 degrees on the Great Pyramid Angle. 51 degrees on the feminine receiving end of the Marcel Vogel crystal, the vampire of the unholy feminine draining human portals. Article 51 is a summary of how wars can be justified. 51 equals May, 5th month, the 1st of 1933 was when the American Federal Reserve made you trade in your gold, otherwise you'd be imprisoned, Orion slavery system. 51 is the tipping of the scales in favor to a side. 5 + 1 = 6. It is also a dual number since it represents the three paths of positive, negative, and balance for both the masculine and feminine polarities. It is the 6 branches in the seed of life and both the tree of life, algies, and its inverted form. The inverted form turns the love of 6 into a negative hex. Saturn's hex North Pole and projecting ring frequencies gives us the choice to choose between the dark or light in the flower of life geometry. Its magic square sequences all add up to 15 = 6. The negative polarity of 15 and 6. The 6 gates of Horus, controlling the 6 senses. Illuminati is in reference to hushing the secrets of Horus and the new dawn. The gesture is the representation of the phi symbol, with the finger being the 1 and the mouth being the 0 in our binary code. That O is the ion, all-seeing eye or old one eye, and 15th letter of the alphabet. The eye of Saturn, which got hijacked by the Anunnaki and reptilian entities. The devil is the 15th card in the tarot of the major arcana. O as in shows up in Necronomicon, the black magic of Babylon. 2022 is the year of 6. Musk also says he will be starting to implant Neuralink chips into humans this year. He is working with the metaverse that say we can live 150, notice the 15, years longer if you permanently leave your physical body and become a living app instead. Neuralink is catering to root chakra attachments through societal sexual programming of lust so you stay rooted to the lower densities. He has developed a system in the metaverse called the Orgasmatron, which allows you to have orgasms on demand. Being plugged into the metaverse now passes that sexual energy of lust through to the AI realms and the malevolent entities to fuel their machines. This is the first stage in you becoming a permanent battery supply. Please share and let people know the truth. Thank you and much love. By Jamie Phillips.